Hey everybody, so here we have another relatively new system in for service. This is a Dell Optiplex 5050, and the reason why it's here is because the owner is stating that they're getting an error message stating the hard drive has failed. So I've already had a look inside the machine, and this machine actually has a solid state drive, and I think it was converted from hard drive to SSD sometime after it was purchased, because there is an empty hard drive bay in there. Can't say for certain if they were offering these things with just solid state drives at the time. So this computer is dated January 18th, 2018. Take careful note of that, boys and girls, for why you'll see in a moment. Alright, so let's go ahead and start it up. Got this monitor here because this thing is one of those special Dells that has eliminated the VGA port, but yet it actually has a PS2 keyboard and mouse port. How about that? That's kind of an interesting system. Right there is where your VGA port would have went had they been nice enough to include it, but they didn't. So had to drag out a different monitor that has DVI on the back and use my good old DVI to DisplayPort cord that used to be with the mid-tower Lux monitor. Alright, let's go ahead and start this thing up. Alright, so we saw, yep, no boot device found. Okay, so it's pretty much behaving like the SSD is not even being detected at all. So we're going to shut this down and we're going to open this up here and see what's going on. Okay, so before I open this up, have a look at that badge there. Intel Core i5 7th Gen. We know what that means, boys and girls. That means that Microsoft in the end of 2025 will deem this perfectly decent computer as e-waste, unless you want to pay up for Windows 10 ESUs, because this computer from early 2018 does not meet the Microsoft Elite class system requirements for Windows 11. Don't you just love it? So this thing was only 3 years old. And no, I'm not talking about the technology, I'm talking about the actual age of the system. We saw the manufacture date, the date it was manufactured and left the factory at Dell. It was 3 years old, and a 3-year-old computer could not run Windows 11 according to the Microsoft Elite class requirements. Alright, so this is a little tricky to get open. It's got like a bent tab or something. Yeah, the back of it is a little bent. And you may be able to see here, there's the empty hard drive caddy. So we got to get this stuff out of the way. So you can see there is a SATA cable as well as SATA power cable right here. So I'm pretty certain this machine had a hard drive in it from the factory, and at some point it was upgraded to a solid state drive. This machine actually has an M.2 NVMe slide. It's down there somewhere. It's like buried in this thing apparently. I think it's up in this area. So we got to get this hard drive cage out of here. And that lifts right up, and there is our SSD from none other than Fanxiang. Never heard of that brand before. First thing I'm going to try doing is I'm going to try just removing this SSD and reseating it. This machine has one of those special tool-free things, which I can't really complain about that. Alright, so it's got a 512 gigabyte solid state drive. Again, some off-brand SSD I never heard of before. Let's just reseat it. Let's go ahead and put this back. Let's try that, see if maybe that's all it needs, because sometimes if the system gets bumped around, it can mess with the connection there. So one thing I'm not exactly a fan of about this thing is the fact that this little lock back here is not always perfectly secure. That's why I'm still more in favor of having a screw there instead of that little piece of plastic. But let's go ahead and try to start this thing back up. Alright, here we are. So I can go in here and just make sure all the settings are where they need to be. Alright, so one thing I should note right now is you see here it says slot 3 M.2 is empty when there is in fact a solid state drive in there. That means our solid state drive might be bricked. So I'll have to look up this solid state drive, see if there's a known issue with it. But in the past with solid state drives, when they're faulty in a brick like that, it's not always good, especially if you're concerned about trying to recover your data off of one. I did a video years back regarding one of the Intel models of SSDs that were known to just randomly brick themselves, and when they do it, you lose access to your data. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut this back down, and I'm going to use a NVMe to USB bridge on the Plexi to see if our SSD is in fact dead. Okay, so our SSD is in fact bricked. As you can see, it is showing a known, not initialized. Not good. So I stand corrected, it's not a Fanxiang, it's a Fanxiang. You know, they got a really fancy looking logo there that you can't read. But so apparently it is an own issue with these things for failures. Yeah, SSD failures is online as Tech Tips forum site, I do believe. So the customer, I should note, stated that they weren't really concerned about the data on the drive. They were hoping to see if I could recover it, but I mentioned that if it's bricked like that, then chances are very, very slim to none. But I mentioned that what we could do is we could order a new SSD for this thing and do a clean installation of Windows 10 since this thing doesn't meet the Elite Class requirements, and we'll get this machine back up and running. Okay, so our new SSD has arrived, and this is, I believe, the exact same model that I have in the Portacube system, the SP880 Silicon Power. So we'll go ahead and get this installed. At least they were nice enough to make it where the packaging could be somewhat easily opened. And we'll just go ahead and pop this in there. Has a good tight fit in the slot. I'll pop this little thing back in there. It's hard to see what I'm doing. And it's now installed. We'll go ahead and put the hard drive cage back in. Had it upside down for a second. Been a few days since I had this thing apart. Trying to remember exactly how it went back how it goes back together. There we are. Ah, you gotta lock it. There we are. Okay, so the new SSD is in there, and we're going to put the old SSD into the little plastic package here. I mean, seriously, y'all, get a look at that stupid logo. Fanxiang, but at an angle it looks like it's Ranxiana, or I don't know. But we'll return this SSD back to the customer. Not sure what they're going to want to do with it, but they wanted it back, so they're getting it back. Let's go ahead and put the front bezel back on. Okay, let's go and put the cover back on the case. Let's see what we can do first about this bent piece here, because that's causing trouble with getting the cover back on the case. So we'll get our pliers, see if we can't bend that back straight. I mean, what a mess. My guess is someone didn't know what they was doing getting this door off the case. The cover off the case, and they just kind of ripped it off. Alright, let's try this. That's better than it was. Alright. Now, we're going to install Windows 10 on this thing, since that's what the customer wants, and also since this machine does not meet the Microsoft Elite class requirements Windows 11. And, oh, that's right, we're using a different monitor with this one. It's been like 2 or 3 days. It took a couple extra days for the SSD to get here. And been busy with work this week. Alright. So, I'm not going to show installing Windows 10 in the video, but what we'll do is we'll come back when this is done, if I remember to do it this time, like I forgot with the last system. Okay, so now we have our basic installation on Windows 10 here with a few different things. So that being said, let's go ahead and show you how fast this thing is. Not too bad. So that's a regular startup and not the fast startup. So the fast startup would be even faster. We'll demonstrate that. Let's go ahead and shut it down. Okay, it's shut off. I'm just going to start it back up. It's really quick with the fast startup. So this computer is not ready to go. So the owner will be picking it up probably tomorrow or something like that. So yeah, that was what was wrong with this machine. It had a faulty solid state drive. And of course they'll be getting their SSD back, and there's a look at it. So there you go. That wraps it up for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Hey everybody. Thanks for watching this video from QCareer channel. If this is your first time, please subscribe to the channel and tick the bell so you get notified of a new video I post. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment. And share this video as well as the channel with your friends to get the word out. In addition, I have a second YouTube channel. That's QCompMTDX. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video. And thank you so much for your support.